Hey, welcome back to another episode of Cooking Under Quarantine. Today we're making a Polish food, believe it or not. It's sauerkraut and kielbasa. So it's a dish that's been handed down from Polak to Polak over the hundreds of years, and now it's from my kitchen to yours. So it's a pretty easy dish. It does take a couple hours to make. It mainly cooking in the oven. Most of the stuff here we gotta do is pretty easy, and the ingredients are gonna go like this. So you need 6 cans of sauerkraut. I get it from Market Basket. I think it's 2 for $1 or 2 for the $1 can or something like that. Whatever it is, 2 for $3. I don't know, something like that. 6 of those. You're gonna need a cup to a cup and a half of brown sugar. You're gonna need 1 package of onion soup mix. About 3 pounds of kielbasa. This is 2.75, so close enough. And then 1 pound of bacon. We're gonna take the sauerkraut. We're gonna wash it really thoroughly, get all the sour stuff out of it. We're gonna fry up the bacon in a pan, cut it in small pieces. We're then gonna take the clean sauerkraut. We're gonna fry that in a pan. We're gonna add the sugar, some water, the onion soup mix it in and cook it together. We're gonna take all that and then add the bacon, stir it around a bunch of times, cook it, fry it for a while. Then we're gonna dump it in a pan, lay the sausage on top, put some tinfoil on it, and put it in the oven for about 2 hours. Then when it comes out, we're gonna glaze the sausages one at a time every 20 minutes, just putting a little bit of syrup or sugar water on them, turning them 20 minutes, come back, do it for another hour. So it'll take 3 hours to cook total while it's in the oven. The prep time is not too bad, just cooking some bacon, then frying some sauerkraut. So stick with me for step 1, it's coming up, or step 2. And we're back. And I spared you the expense of having me have you watch me wash sauerkraut. Try to say that 5 times fast. So I had to wash it multiple times to get that sour kind of smell and taste out of it. Now we're gonna go to cutting the bacon, because this is the first step we're gonna do, because we need this bacon and we need the grease from the bacon. So we're gonna cut it into basically 1-inch strips across the board. And these are gonna fry down. I'm using my cheapest little cutting board, and if you guys have been watching the show, you know I use my cheapest little cutting board because it's what? It's small. Sometimes size is important. So I use a small board because I got a lot of kids. The dishwasher only holds so many dishes, so we try to minimize what we use so that at the end of the night, everything fits. And that's why I got a throwaway pan there too. So at the end of the night, when this is done, I'll throw that away after it cools down, and then I'll package it in like a Ziploc freezer bag. That way I don't take up too much room in the fridge either. You know, I got a big fridge. I don't think you guys have ever seen it, but let's see if we can show it to you here. So that's like a double Sub-Zero, 19 cubic feet on both sides, freezer and fridge side, but it is jammed. It's jammed. I don't know if the Holocaust is coming. I'm jamming up. I got everything. Beans, pasta, you know, rice. You just gotta make sure you have your bases covered, so in case something shuts down, you're covered. Anyways, I cut that up. I'm gonna peel it apart and start frying it. I'll see the next step. Or maybe not. Here's a quick tip I'll give you guys. Even though I'm frying up bacon, as I did when I was frying up a hamburger, I always spray the pan with a little bit of Pam, because if you don't, the first like minute, the bacon's gonna stick, and it could also curl because of that. So I throw that in there so it slides around, less chance of it curling up and becoming weird looking. Just a pro tip here when you're cooking the bacon. It depends on what kind of bacon you like and how you like it. If you like it crispy, you gotta cook it longer. For this particular recipe, you want it cooked, but you want it a little meaty, so it's not crisp, crunchy bacon. You want meaty bacon. And if it was undercooked just a little bit, it's fine. It's gonna cook in the oven for 2 hours or 3 hours actually, so anything that's undercooked is gonna cook anyways. But I try to get all the cooking down now, and what I'm trying to do here is get as much of the grease out of it as I can now. We're actually gonna use that grease in cooking. This is probably gonna be an artery clogger. It's Polish cooking, what do I do? This is how Polacks do it. Also, a lot of Germans like to eat this as well. They love their kraut. So I'm just frying this up until it gets a little more golden brown. As soon as it's gonna get too crispy, I'm gonna pull it right out and put it on the plate to dry. And I'm putting step 2, which is stick the sauerkraut right in here and start going with that. Okay, so we're at the point now where we're going to put in the sauerkraut. I've got the pan heated up a little more. The bacon's all out, and now I'm going to stick in the sauerkraut. Hopefully this doesn't flare up and cause a grease fire. Ah, Jesus Christ! Jesus. You didn't think it was anything. Alright. Ooh. Alright. At this step, all we do is try to get this sauerkraut starting to fry it up. And the reason I did that is because the sauerkraut was still wet. I mean, you want to wait for your sauerkraut to dry. You've been waiting for a long time. So, while I get this in the pan, I'm just going to stir it around. Drip some of that grease up. Alright, now we're going to make the sauce that goes in here. So, you got 3/4 a cup of the hottest water you can get from your tap. Yeah? You're going to take 1 cup of brown sugar, light or dark. I have both, excuse me. Come on. Come on. Come on. Alright, I'm going to put that in there. That's 1 cup brown sugar. And why you want it warm is so that it obviously can melt the sugar. Or at least start to melt the sugar a little bit. Alright. I didn't say this is high-end production. Alright, guys. This is a Polish with an iPhone. Alright, so basically stirring this bad boy up. Make sure that as much of that is mixed up as it can be. I want to keep frying this sauerkraut for a minute. You're basically trying to, I don't know if we're going to actually end up frying it, per se, but we're definitely heating it up. You take 1 pack of your onion soup mix, so all you're going to need is 1. You pour it into the water. Now the first time I made this, I hadn't had it for a long time. The first time I remade it, I didn't know what I was doing with sugar and water, and I put like a whole 2 cups of stuff together, and it was super runny and super sweet. And it was so sweet the kids didn't like it. I was forced to finish it because I don't like wasting food, you know, but it is what it is. Another cool recipe is this same recipe of the sauerkraut is a stuffing for the inside of certain pierogies. So my mother used to make homemade pierogies when I was a kid, and one of the ones I used to love was the bacon and sauerkraut, and it was this recipe. So it was the brown sugar, the onion soup mix, the water, the bacon, the sauerkraut fried together, and then let it cool and put it in pierogies, which are basically dough. Like every culture has something like a pierogi. Like Italians have raviolis, right? Jamaicans have that Jamaican pie. Everyone has some kind of dough that has some potato and cheese in it, or some meat in it, or with the dough wrapped around it, you know? Whether it's fried, boiled, baked, or whatever. This is what the Polacks have. They have pierogies, which we'll be making on another episode at some point, for sure. So, this is cooking up rather nicely. I'm going to fry this for about another 5 minutes. Then I'm going to add in the sauce, let that fry for another 5 minutes. Then I'm going to put it in the pan and start the process. Okay, this has been frying about 5 minutes. As I said, we're going to start to pour in our flavoring. And this is going to change the color a little bit, turn it more brown. As the onion soup mix get in there, the flavors get in there. And we're just trying to fold this. Fold this. Look how messy this is. Oh my God. And besides not trying to make dishes, I don't try to make a mess because you just got to clean it up, me. So I try to avoid making as much mess as I can. But certain things like bacon, very difficult to cook without getting grease splattered everywhere. Now I'm going to put the bacon back into it too. Doesn't look like a pound. I bet I could open 2 pounds of bacon and still love this. I love bacon. You can put as much bacon in anything I make. I love it. You know, on hot dogs, I'm not a huge. Oh no, I'm not even a piece of bacon inside. On hot dogs, I'm not even a huge sauerkraut fan. I mean, I don't know what else to use it besides hot dogs. But in this dish, because again, you know, I washed it multiple times. I got the sourness out of it, which is why some people like it. Sauerkraut. This is about the only time I actually will eat sauerkraut, personally. And I think sauerkraut's just pickled cabbage. I don't mind cabbage, like in coleslaw and other things. Back on low now. I'm basically just going to fry this for a couple minutes. Then I'm going to put it in the pan, put the sausages in, tin foil on, and the oven. This is almost ready. What you guys didn't see, I just put into it, put a little salt and pepper in there. That's to taste. The original recipe calls for caraway seeds as well, but I don't like caraway seeds, so I don't put it in mine. But if you like caraway seeds, this is a recipe that it goes with nicely. I don't mind them as much in this recipe. I don't like them on anything else. But when I'm making it, I kind of cook it to my taste, not what the original recipe calls for. Just a side note. Okay, that's cooked. We're going to pour it into the pan. And hopefully this fits in this pan. There's a lot of sauerkraut, to be honest with you. Good, it does. Actually fits nicely. You guys are probably going to ask what size this pan is. I would. Let me find out. This is a hefty pan. I get them in Market Basket. 12 3/4 inch by 10 3/8 inch by 2 inch, 2.5 inch deep. Old 120 fluid ounces. That's packed pretty nicely right there. And all I'm gonna do is take the fresh kielbasa. And honestly, besides going to a Polish store, Market Basket is the only place I know that sells this fresh kielbasa. Brings me back to my Polish roots. Reminds me of a young boy in Poland. That was never Poland. Alright, let me get this going. And basically just laid like this. And I cut all these kielbasas into 7 pieces. So there's 14 of these bad boys in here. Just gonna push this down a little bit. And yeah, I put it under a pan like this, just in case I get anything leaking out and go in the oven. So don't clean the oven. And this fits perfectly, this pan size with this tin foil. Right? Ooh, that pan's already getting hot from that sauerkraut. And I'm sealing this thing all the way. And that's ready to go in the oven at 350 degrees for 2 hours. Oh boy, dang it. Well, again, this is not a Hollywood production. I didn't do my proper prep. I need the shelf where I wanted it. So you want to make this on the middle rack. I just figured how these things go in. Worse. Alright, there. Perfect. Alexa, set timer 2 hours.
Starting now.
I love Alexa. So that's going in the oven, 2 hours. The next step from that is going to be in 2 hours, I'll take the top off, take the tinfoil off. We're going to bake it for another hour after that. And what we're going to do is glaze those sausages with either a brown sugar and water or maybe something even easier, syrup. And just every 20 minutes, glaze them, flip them, glaze them, let them cook, flip it, glaze the other side. So in 20 minutes, we should get 3 coats. Yeah, 2 coats on one side, 1 on the other anyways. That'll be another hour cooking. Then it's ready to eat. Hey, we're at step 4, and I just took these out of the oven after 2 hours of being cooked, and I took the tinfoil off the top. And now what I'm doing is I'm just turning them over. You can see some of them, I think you can see that from here, some of them have a little bit of browning on the top, if you can see that. We're going to turn that over, and we're going to put the first coat of glaze on them. Now, I told you guys can do brown sugar and water, or you can do syrup, which is easier. And if you have syrup, you want to use a maple syrup. So we're going to do syrup today, and it's going to be really easy. I know this sounds funny, but it actually tastes really good because the maples make maple flavored already. I'm just trying to find my little brushes. There we go. And basically what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of syrup on the top and just brush it in. On every one of them. This will add a little more syrup flavor, sweetness to the sauerkraut and the meat. And what we're going to do is, now that the tinfoil is off, this is going to actually be a little bit of a glaze, believe it or not. It's going to thicken up almost like a candy shell. And we'll do this 3 times. So we'll do this once now in 20 minutes and then another 20 minutes. I'm going to keep putting it back in there at the same temperature, 350. And we'll keep doing that. So this is step 1 of the glaze. You can see right there, it turned over now. But next time I take them out, they'll have a little bit more of a glaze to them, or like a little more brownness to them. You'll see that, and as we do another coat, it just gets better and better. Hey, we're at the final steps. Well, almost the final step. The step before the final step, and I just pulled them out of the oven. I want to give you guys a look. So I did these 3 times. It took 3 hours to cook. 2 hours on, an hour off, every 20 minutes, basting it with a little bit of syrup, flipping it over. And this is the final product. You guys can see this. It's exactly what I want it to look like. I hope it tastes as good as it looks. And the next step, we're going to plate it, taste it. Once it cools down, give it 5 or 10 minutes to cool down, and we go from there. And hopefully it's going to be delicious. We made it. We're at the plating ceremony, and we're going to get started. So, how you serve this up, as you can see, it's all nice and roasted. Take the 2 sausages, each plate, put them aside. I want to give 1 to 2 scoops sauerkraut and bacon. Some people actually put canned potatoes in there as well. But that's how it's served right there. That's it. Polish kielbasa and sauerkraut. Speaking of sausage, you guys hear about the joke about the Polish guy, the Italian, and the Spanish guy? They're all sitting on a roof. The Spanish guy opens his lunch and says, "Ay, caramba, tacos again. If I have tacos one more time, I'm going to jump off this building tomorrow." The Italian guy opens his lunch and goes, "Ay, it's me, spaghetti and meatballs. I cannot have spaghetti and meatballs one more time." And the Polish guy goes, "God, kielbasa. If I have kielbasa one more time, I'm jumping off the roof." The next day, the Spanish guy opens up his lunch and sees tacos. And, it's me, it's caramba. He jumps off. The Spanish guy, the Italian guy, he opens up his spaghetti and meatballs and he goes, he takes off. The Polish guy sees kielbasa and he jumps. A few weeks later at the funeral, they have the 3 wives talking. They go, the Spanish wife goes, "If I only know Ramon did not like tacos, I would not serve them tacos." And the Italian wife goes, "I if Tony didn't like spaghetti and meatballs, I would not make him spaghetti and meatballs." And the Polish guy's wife said, "I don't know why my husband jumped. He packed his own lunch every day." And it was a little Polish joke for you guys. Anyways, here's the dinner. It's served up nice and warm. For my family and yours, I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay safe. We'll see you at the next Cooking Under Quarantine.